I did whatever you told me to do because I knew the way I was living was not working. So I will do whatever you tell me to. So I did about I participated in about a month of fellowship, and then, I thought I was going to get fired, but they're like, we can't fire you, we can't replace you. You already didn't resign your contract. And that was the other thing. I didn't resign because I wanted to go back up north. I wanted to go back to my triangle of terror and be in my element
Where they know you.
where they know me. And about a month, my kids graduate school, summer vacation, and I checked into a treatment program. And, I had interviewed a couple because, of course, that's what we do. And I ended up going to a place that no longer exists. But it was really, really great for me because the gentleman who I called, who I knew that was sober from my childhood, was a therapist and leaving there to go somewhere else. And he's like, I don't want you to be in the same place I work. He's like, but where I'm leaving, I think is a good fit for you. And I went and I saw it, and I had nothing, and he got me in. And his words to me, he's like, you're not here to make friends. You're not here to meet women. If at any point in time you want to drink, walk out the door because I put my name out there for you. And he's like, and be honest.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Sure.
Amazing.
And I
What
remember,
an incredible person.
and I was like, I'm going to do 30 days. And it was tough. There was a lot of things I hadn't really dealt with. I needed a little bit more extracurricular help, and working with a therapist and working with a team of people, processing a lot of trauma that I, with my dad passing and some other friends that had passed tragically that I just kind of stuffed down. But the best part about saying I was an alcoholic is that, like, it just like felt lighter and lighter and
It's
lighter.
like that.
Right. And I was like, oh man, I can finally be honest. Like, what's on my heart and what's in my head is coming out. And I was sharing all the things and things that I had done and things I had been a part of. And then I learned about, the kind of the meat and potatoes of everything of the fellowship, and was like, they suggested I do this. And I did what anybody, if you suggested I do that or stand on my head and spit quarters, like, I did whatever you told me to do because I knew the way I was living was not working. So I will do whatever you tell me to. And I was not very popular at treatment. Like, if you weren't there to do the deal, I was like, just don't talk to me. Like,
Right.
people were acting out, and like anybody in early recovery, it's just, they act out. Like, the cloud kind of lifts. And like, I got this. I watched people come and go. I watched people leave and die. I watched
Me too.
so many
I
like
isolated, but
I watched strike threes happen where people like knew that if they messed up or left or did anything, they were going to prison, and they did. And I was like,
that's crazy to me too.
and I'm like, what? And I'm just here. I was like, I don't want to go to prison. And I was like scared, and, got through all the legal stuff, got my sentencing, and I just followed the directions. I ended up doing 90, staying there. And then when I moved out, I moved back to my apartment. Because I didn't have any money. I had like a very basic job. I was working in a kitchen, I was making food, and I had no car. I had no lights. I biked everywhere. Public transportation in Florida is not fun. There's sometimes I biked and I had to get on a bus and there were too many bikes. I had to chain my bike and figure out how to get it back another time.
Right.
But I would run, walk, bike, whatever, ask for anything to get to, the fellowship, to get to a job, to get to wherever. And it was really a valuable learning lesson. I was becoming aware. I was learning some things about interactions with my families and how to handle them more appropriately.
What I call boundaries.
Boundaries. Yeah. The girl I was dating, I told her to run the other way, and she stuck around, and she kind of was like, like, hey, at first she was like, DUI, like she had a brother, and like, yeah, he had a DUI. And everybody's approach to it at the beginning was like, even the headmaster at my school, he had sons, and he's like, Mr. Williams, it's and I was like, no, I'm an alcoholic and an addict. And like, I hate saying that to you as my employer, but I just have to be honest. Like, I don't do that like everybody else. I'm not able to drink successfully. And as the more honest I got, and I've been accused of being intense, the more intense I got about my program and about following the suggestions, life got better. And the boundaries I created and the awareness I had of who I was, and like, I wouldn't just go along and people please, and I wasn't trying to intentionally be rude or a dick or anything like that. I just was like, this isn't for me. I'm not going to do that. This works. I don't feel right about this. I was communicating. I learned how to communicate with people.